Hi, welcome to Everyone Can Jam. This is a place where everyone can learn to play music, and today we're talking about something that will help a great deal when you are a beginning guitarist. It also helps a lot if you're more advanced but you're having trouble with pain, or there's this cool lick or this fun chord shape you want to make and you're having trouble making it. Developing a good technique is something that will just make your life easier. It will make your playing more fun and help prevent injury. It's something that even after you know how to play fairly well, sometimes you have to revisit and refine your technique. And I want you to know it's actually not that hard to change. It's surprising. I have some methods for helping students change technique, which make it not so hard to change. So don't be afraid of changing. Let me just give you a quick example though first of what I mean by good technique. With chords, I'll give you an example of a poor technique and a good technique. An example of a poor technique that can lead to injury, and even if you're not injuring yourself, if your wrist is thrown out when you're making your G chord, it's going to be weaker and harder to play, and you're liable to hurt yourself if you play like that a lot. A good technique would be a straight G chord, a straight wrist. When you're a beginner, almost always you want your wrist pretty straight. An example that happens a lot with beginners, if you're playing an exercise kind of like this, I've noticed if you start with your index finger and you're working your way up, often people will throw their wrist out to get these fingers down, and that's an example of a poor technique. A good technique would be where the wrist stays straight. And I'll teach you how to develop that technique in just a few seconds. So what we're going to do is also, this is an important thing to be aware of. In order to play music, you have to practice motion. There's a difference between playing music and practicing motion. So what we're doing today is practicing motion. And if you spend even just a little bit of time practicing motion, I give my students just a few minutes of a warm-up kind of like this. And if you do a few minutes of that each day when you practice, your brain works with that when you're sleeping, and just doing it every day, even if it's just for a few minutes, makes a big difference. So something we're going to do to practice motion, and this should be easy. Please tell me if it's not easy. But we're going to start with a straight wrist. And just hold your wrist, you can hold it out in front of you. I'm holding mine like this so you can see it well. Your wrist should be straight. A slight curve here is okay. It doesn't have to be exactly straight. This is very healthy. And we want your hand relaxed. If it helps to just hold your arm or to lay it on a table, you want this whole hand to be very relaxed and comfortable. And I want you to notice, I'm going to move the camera here, that when my hand is relaxed, see where my thumb is compared to my middle finger? It's not that far away. It almost really wants to go there. So we're going to start like this, and then you're going to bring that thumb, get the light better, to where it's touching your middle finger. And you're not squeezing. Everything is still very relaxed. Okay? Thumb is touching the middle finger, just not squeezing, very relaxed. And then what we're going to do is we're going to take a guitar. You should be sitting, by the way. I'm standing so that you can see. And just open it a little bit and just slide the guitar neck right in there. So you haven't even started squeezing. Something I forgot to mention is, so I'm assuming you're sitting, you may be standing with a strap, but make sure your posture is good and everything's relaxed, and then do your straight wrist thing. Bring the guitar down in between, and then pick a place. I'm going to pick right here, somewhere in the middle of the neck. Probably, I'm on the 5th fret. Pick a place that's comfortable for you. I'm going to suggest the third or the fourth string, but find a string that's comfortable and a fret that's comfortable, the place that's easiest for you, so that you can squeeze and make a nice sound without it being difficult. And so once again, start with a straight wrist. Don't start squeezing, just don't move anything, just put the guitar in between your thumb and your finger. Find a place that's comfortable, squeeze, and then if you need to, look at your finger, what string you're on, follow the string down, play that string, and see if you can just get a nice sound with a nice straight wrist. Make sure you're not in the middle of the fret. Make sure you're close to the fret. This would be a good time to just notice when you don't want to be on top of it either, just behind it. And when you're in the right place, this finger can feel the fret. And that's one way you can get your fingers in the right place without looking. There's a few things we're going to do to build on that, but I think it's important to always start, well, I don't want to say always start in a place that's easy. When you're a beginner, definitely start in a place that's easy. You always want to progress by being aware of where you're at. If you're changing technique, it's a good idea to do something really small. Oh, I told you it was not going to be difficult to change. If you already play and you need to change your technique because you have an injury or you've just learned that your technique is not efficient, you don't want to just like forbid yourself to never play the old way ever again, and you must always play the new way. That doesn't work very well. That's frustrating. And if you're playing and enjoying your playing and you don't have extreme dangerous kind of pain, then you can do this kind of exercise for a few minutes when you start your practice and focus on it then, and then just go on with life, practice your songs and enjoy playing, but it will gradually increase your awareness. And there are other things you can do to make it part of your development. I have a video called Practice Strategies 1, which is a technique that will help improve your, it's a practice strategy that will help improve your technique. So you could look at that also. And this is part of a series. It's lesson 1 in a series about developing good technique. And lesson 2 will learn about what we can do with what we just learned to kind of progress from there and do a few more things. So if you don't want to miss a thing, please go to my website, www.everyonecanjam.com, and sign up for my email list. I put things there that I won't put anywhere else, and please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Things like that make it possible for me to do more of this kind of work, and I love it and I hope to do more. So see you soon. Bye.